You saw that clip that Vince was in our studio showing the Jack Hacksaw Reynolds notes. Those were presented on the show 10, 15 years ago, but I wanted to say Bob Williams, who used to work here at WAT and is a good friend, if he can see this today, just want to say thanks because he's the one that facilitated. I made the comment, I don't think Hacksaw Reynolds, that's a wives' tale, it's a legend. Nope, he sawed a Bel Air in half. So anyway, Bob got me that. Back with Paige Dower, Mark Pancratz. Mark on the committee for the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. I did not know that, so qualified to discuss basketball of all sorts here. The Lady Vols finally broke through this week with what had to be the perfect breakthrough. If you could have picked one of these teams, they had lost by single digits to 4 top 10 teams, but if you're going to get one, who better than to beat Gino in Knoxville, as they did. 80-76 this week. Lady Vols now 19th in the nation. They're projected as a 4 seed in the tournament, which means they'll host a regional here in Knoxville. Paige, it's not as if the program had fallen off the map. I mean, Kellie Harper got them to the NCAA tournament for 4 straight years. There were people who thought, why are you even making a move here? But there's no question. Kim Caldwell has revved up the energy on the court and in the stands.
And I think Danny White maybe takes a page out of Bill Belichick's book where they like to move on from players maybe a couple of years before their time is actually up. And the Kim Caldwell hire has proven to be the exact hire that the Lady Vol basketball program needed. I mean, you look to that UConn game, if there's a game that they're going to win in the top 10, you're happy it's against UConn because of what that rivalry meant to women's basketball, how much it grew the sport, and just how much it was kind of like a hated and heated rivalry as well. So for Tennessee to go out there, win the rebound battle, be efficient in the paint. See, Spearman came alive, especially in the fourth quarter, 9 points, 8 minutes. It was just the type of win Tennessee needed. They were so close so many times this season. The amount of teams that they've played in the top 10 just in the SEC alone and have come up just so close, so short. That's the exact win that this program needed.
I was talking to somebody last week in the media who was asking about what it was like here when the Lady Vols were rolling. It was like, is Lady Vol basketball bigger than football? I'm like, no. There's never that. Nothing's bigger than UT football. UT football can be bad, and it's still going to be bigger than anything else in town. But what you saw against UConn with the crowd going the way they were going, the national TV on the thing, that's what it was like. It's rolling again right now. It feels really good.
And just real quick, I love that you brought up football because I talked to Holly Werlick, and she says that the UConn and Lady Vol rivalry is Tennessee football and Alabama football, and I think that's the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah.
Well, today, when Coach Pearl, when I was playing for him, he would always tell us when we were having success, he said, I'll never leave Milwaukee for a job that you guys as my players don't push me out. And when he came and told us that he was taking the Tennessee job, we're like, Coach, like, why would you take the, you'll be behind football, and you'll always be behind Lady Vols basketball. Right, so that's the power of Lady Vols. And I will say Tennessee Lady Vols had fallen off. I got 3 daughters. I coach a lot of kids. I'm around youth basketball.
Yeah.
And you
Not
saw
off
even
the
for
cliff, but it's she's clearly taking it to
weren't
another
as
level
relevant
from where it
as they
was.
were.
What I'm saying is that
They were an okay team.
What I was saying is that the girls coming up, they now wanted to go to the UConns. They now want to go to the South Carolinas, to the LSUs. And so now you're the best players. They didn't see Lady. And so Kim Caldwell, the style of play that she's playing, the up-tempo, the energy, now you match that with the history of the Lady Vols, the fan base. Now you start cooking with gas on what this program could get back to.
Yeah, I was just trying to be fair to the Kellie Harper folks out there because, again, it's not like she took.
Well, and they were not happy that she was let go.
Right.
So.
And, I mean, Pearl took over, and I was going to go somewhere with Pearl in my next question, but Pearl took over. I mean, Buzz Peterson wasn't in the tournament. So that was more of a drop-off at Tennessee from the Jerry Green years. Peterson never made it, whereas Kellie Harper was making the tournament. But you're right. Tennessee was no longer one of those top 5 or 6 brands, which is not where Tennessee is supposed to be in women's basketball. You got to be in those top 5 or 6 brands, always.
Especially in this NIL world. What it is, like if you have an SEC team and you're spending the type of money that you spend on an SEC, even women's basketball, and you're not filling the seats, you're losing a boatload of money that's now not going other places.
I also think it's reflective in what Kim's doing in her first true recruiting class, the number 2 recruiting class at best since 2017. She's got a number of them are qualified for All-American or All-McDonald American
All McDonald's All-American.
McDonald's All-American. The All McDonald's Americans. Yeah.
It's a new award, so I'm starting it this year. So I just think what she's doing on the recruiting trail, she's getting the top players in the country are wanting to come to Tennessee. They're competitive with other players who are looking at going to South Carolina. So not only what they're doing with this year's class, what they're doing with next year's class, if they can get a win against LSU later this afternoon, I wouldn't be surprised if they're back in the top 10 after this week.
I think it's too soon to say this, so I'm going to answer my own question, but we'll see what you say. You're talking about a coach that's coming from a mid-major program into a program that had fallen off. They bring a style, up-tempo style of pressure defense, which lights up the fans, which makes players, they enjoy playing that style, and everybody gets excited again. Is it too soon? I say yes. Mark, is it too soon to make comparisons between Bruce Pearl and Kim Caldwell, or no?
Yeah, it's too soon, but the marriage is there. I mean, you can actually absolutely see.
So it's building.
Yeah,
it's building. It's too soon to say it yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's there.
I think that you need some solid wins in the SEC. Of course, they did well against FSU and Iowa and against UConn, but they don't have a top-ranked win in the SEC quite yet. So
she's not grabbing every microphone the way Bruce Pearl did.
She's getting better though.
Yeah, but she
nice.
is not someone who is everywhere all the time the way that Pearl was. Right now, the program is growing. Not only his was the style of play and his huge personality. She's nice. There's not knocking her. It's just right now it's more about what they're doing on the floor, and that I hate to use the Nolan Richardson thing, but it is kind of a 40 minutes a hill type of style.
And the thing that I'm learning now is when you talk to people on the program that are in practice every day, I mean, she holds those girls accountable. They're working. I mean, they're getting after it. And so that's been the one thing I don't know is when you see that helter-skelter style and you're still turning the ball over 15 times a game. And, it's like, all right, when you're playing against better opponents, can you consistently win that way? From what I hear with inside the program, she's disciplined and holding those guys accountable. So the trajectory is definitely up.
Very good. Mark Pancras, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Paige, hang out here. We're going to have you for more. When we come back, did Tennessee buy the highest-priced NIL player in the country? One collective in the ACC says so. Let's discuss that next. Come on back.